Baruch Hashem. So today, in my afternoon class that we learned the Sha'ar Kavanot of the Arizal, we were discussing something that is very, very interesting, that is basically the whole Kabbalah. What is the whole Kabbalah? So the Rashash is quoting the Arizal, that he says, if you know what does it mean, man and mad, this is the whole Kabbalah. Man and mad. If you know what is man and mad, this is the whole Kabbalah. Okay? What is man and mad? So, there's many ways how to explain it. But basically, man is whatever goes from down below, up above. And mad is whatever comes from up above, down below. So if you know those two, basically you know everything. Okay? Because everything is included within that. Everything is included within, or it's going from below up, or it's coming from up above, down below. So basically, all what we are doing in our Avodat Hashem is to work on elevating from down below up above. Okay? And the result that we want to achieve is that the abundance from up above will come down below.
From
right?
our lips to God's ears.
So that's what we want, right? So if we know how to generate more man that comes from down below up above, the result will be that abundance from up above will come down below. Okay? So if we know that, that's the whole Kabbalah. Right? Now,
How do we generate that?
how do we generate that? It's very simple. Very, very simple. There's nothing more simple than that. You just go in Hashem's way and that's it. If you go as much as you go in Hashem's ways, you're generating more man. You are creating more of a flow that comes from our dimension to the highest dimensions. And the result will be the abundance that comes afterwards. Now, obviously, there's some people that will hear those words and they will say, I tried that, it didn't work. I was doing so much and this and that, and I didn't see any abundance in my bank account. Okay? So, I'm not ignoring the question. It is a fair question, but obviously, it's not so direct as we want it to be. Okay? The result is not automatic. So my analogy for that, to explain it, that it is like the system of the water supply of the world. How does it work? Generally, obviously there's a lot of details. Simply. We have ocean, right? Big ocean. The sun
evaporates.
The sun goes shines on the ocean. It evaporates, becomes to be clouds. The clouds are moving with the wind. They go to the mountains. They pour the rain, and this rain goes down from the mountains through the river back to the sea, right? Basically, that's the simple way of explaining how the system works. Now, if we could have take a drop of water in the ocean and mark it with a red marker, okay? And see how this drop of water from the ocean evaporates and goes up to the clouds and goes within one of the big clouds over the whole ocean until it gets to the high mountains, wherever, and then it drops the rain, Baruch haba. Yeah? how long would it take to this drop until it will circulate through the circle and comes back to the ocean? I don't know the answer for that, but I'm assuming it takes a while. It's not in the same day, probably also not in the same week. Maybe it's even a matter of a year, maybe even more. I don't know. Okay, now just imagine just about the drop that falls in the top of the mountain, how long it will take it to go back to the ocean. Just that. Forget about the clouds and everything else. Just that. If you drop a drop of water in the top of a mountain, how long it will take until it will go all the way down to the bottom of the mountain? It can be a while. If it's a big mountain, it can be a while, right? For you, how long would it take to go down from the mountains, right? If you go to high mountains, right? So basically what I'm saying is, if that's in the physical, how much more so in the spiritual, right? We don't know. We don't know how long does it take to make the circle. From whatever we are generating, we are with our Avodat Hashem, that it will elevate all the way up to the highest spiritual dimensions, and how long it will take from the time that it creates the unity in the destination wherever it got to, until it will come down and manifest as abundance that we can recognize. How long does it take? Who knows? Who knows? So, to explain it a little bit better, I'll tell you a story that I heard from a very good friend of mine, also a student, also helping me a lot, Simon Jacob, that he told me that he heard this story from the person himself that this story is about. Okay? First hand. So now he gave it to me, second hand, now I'm giving it to you, third hand, in a good condition. Okay? So the story goes like this. There is a very, very, very successful businessman. Very, very successful. Whatever he does, magnificent success. Everything that he's doing, every investment is very successful. And one after another, and he starts to be nervous. He says, like, what's going on here? I see my friends, they're doing the same things. I'm not doing something special. I'm not more smart. I'm not smarter than them. And I see that I'm like, everything I'm doing is succeeding. So maybe I'm taking like all of my merits, all of what I'm doing. Hashem is paying me in this world, and maybe I won't have anything left for the world to come. He got very nervous over it. So he went to Rav David Pinto, Shlita, and Rav David Pinto told him, yes, the answer is that it's not from your merits, it is from the merits of your grandfather. That your grandfather, Alav Shalom, that passed away already many years before that, he did, when he was very young, he did a very, very noble act, that he had a nice amount of money, that he could have sustained himself and his family in a very comfortable way for the rest of his life, just to invest it in a good investment, and he was basically set. And he saw someone that got married and he didn't have anything, and he decided to give him half of the money, that he will have also something to invest for his future of his family. So instead of having a very comfortable life for the rest of his life, he had to push it a little harder because he didn't have so much to invest in the beginning, basically. So because he did such a big act of chesed, he gave such a big donation, a big present for this young man that got married, they didn't have anything, so now you're getting the fruits of his deeds. Okay? Basically that's the end of the story for what we need from that. So what do you see from this story? Obviously it can be also less, more, but just an example that the fruits came 3 generations after, right? So if you were this man that did this nice act of giving half of his money, and you would have expectations to see it the next day in your bank account again, So it means you are expecting that the circle will be very fast, 24 hours, and I got it all back, right? And what happened? It took 3 generations. Only his grandson get the benefit of that. Now, can you tell me on which merits are you living on? Whatever it is that you have, more or less, whatever it is that you have. Different people have different things. But do you know what is the source of the abundance that you experience in your life? Spiritual, emotional, physical, whatever it is. You don't know, right? We don't know what is the source of the fruits that we are eating. So, in the same breath, also we cannot expect to have the pleasure, to enjoy, and to see the immediate cause and effect of whatever it is that we're doing for Hashem's sake. Okay? So, I know about few people that they said statements like, you know, after I gave money to this person, I didn't see bracha. I had even the opposite, right? Mm-hmm. So how can it be? Chazal is saying like all kinds of things like that, right? So it is questions that many people are dealing with every day, and it occupies their mind. Basically, the answer is, it's all starts and finishes with faith. Okay, if you have faith, if you believe that Hashem knows exactly what you're doing. Hashem is not ignoring any good deed that you have. Whatever it is that you do, even without doing, even just thinking about it. Hashem knows, Hashem is recognizing, Hashem is not only that He wants to give you, He is giving you reward much more than what you deserve. Okay? But Hashem is hiding His ways. How exactly this system works? Right? So like I said, how can we take the red marker and mark the fruit of this deed that I just did? Yeah? Now we are learning Torah. Right? Baruch Hashem, we have the merit to learn Torah in a very holy place. Obviously, it's something that generates a lot of kedusha, a lot of abundance, right? How can we take now the red marker and make a mark on this abundance that is elevated as man, that goes from here up above, that when it will come down, we will recognize that this is the fruit of what we did, right? Unfortunately, we can't, right? We can't, we don't know. So what do you do when you don't know? You have to trust Hashem that He knows how to do His calculation. Right? Hashem knows how to run the show. He's doing it for quite a bit. Right? And it works. Even though many people are frustrated and they are complaining and so on and so forth, but we see that it works, right? Everybody are here, whoever is here, Baruch Hashem, and whoever is not here, Bezrat Hashem will be here in the spectrum of Kedusha and learning Torah and connected to Hashem and to the mitzvot and so on and so forth. Now, another thing is that when we have the first, for example, I will say it about money, but really what I mean to say is about like abundance generally, that it can be spiritual also as well. Just for example, let's say that I need 100 shekels now to buy myself dinner. Okay? Maybe, let's say. And I see that what I have in my pocket is only 50 shekels. And I feel miserable. I'm missing 50 shekels for the dinner I want. I want to have a nice dinner in 100 shekels and I'm missing half of the amount. So I start to complain to Hashem, this, that, whatever. I put on tefillin in the morning. I did such an effort to wake up, to come to the Bet Knesset. How come in the evening I don't have 50 shekels in my pocket? Right? Someone was here about a week ago. He asked me to lend him some money, and was so much complaints about Hashem. Hashem is ignoring me. Hashem doesn't care what I'm doing. This, that, whatever. You know, some people, it's a very, very hard experience to have those feelings.
You didn't get it.
Baruch Hashem, I gave him. Baruch Hashem, I was capable to give him. But Hashem was good to him. But anyhow, whatever. The point is that it's a very, very real thing for many, many people. Okay. So how do you treat it when you have a case like that you want 100 shekels and you have only 50 shekels in your pocket, and you feel that you deserve it because you did so and you did this and whatever it is, you feel that you deserve the whatever it is that you're missing, a wife, children, whatever it is, shlom bayit, to learn more, to learn less, I don't know, whatever person feels that that's what he needs and what he deserves and he doesn't get it. So, if, let's say, Eliyahu Hanavi would have come to me or to this person that is missing these 50 shekels and tell him, listen, really from the fact that you woke up in the morning and you pushed yourself out of the bed and you went to the Bet Knesset and you put on tefillin, really, if we translate that to money, that generate not 100 shekels, generate million shekels. Yeah, but for some reasons you get only 50. Why you get only 50? Because Hashem is taking this abundance that you created with your good deed, and He gives it to people that they don't have any merit, that they didn't wake up in the morning, and they should have been starving, and because of you, Hashem sustains them, and they are still alive.
Wow.
How would you feel if you know that there's 100 people now, whatever, in the other side of the globe, that are alive in your merit because of the fact that you pushed yourself out of bed and put on tefillin? So you would not feel so bad with the fact that you have a humble dinner and you have only 50 shekels instead of 100. Because, okay, I have a humble dinner, but I know, I see that, I understand that there's a lot to it. I sustain a whole 100 people in the other side of the globe. So it means a lot to me, right? Feels good. Now, the fact is that we don't know it. We don't have the revelation of Eliyahu Hanavi that comes and tells us what happens with whatever it is that we are generating with our good deeds. But for sure, we are trusting Hashem that there is a result. And the abundance that is generated from anything that we do or speak or think or want doesn't go for vain, doesn't go with nothing. Everything ends with fruits. Spiritual, physical, emotional, whatever it is. And we know, unfortunately, there's many, many people, too many, that don't have merits over the world. Right? So many people that are, whatever, like all kinds of miserable places, and they feel so miserable with themselves that they got to those places, and they are almost about to commit suicide, and there's all of a sudden Hashem is giving them some inspiration to keep themselves alive, and so on and so forth, right? How this inspiration is coming? Where does it come from? This person doesn't have any merit, he's not doing anything. He's all like down and depressed, right? Mm-hmm. So the answer is that Hashem knows how to split the cake. Okay? We have in our imagination, in our desires, we want to have a big portion, right? But Hashem knows how to split the cake. He knows how many children he has. He knows what is the resources that is generated, and is giving each individual, each human being, each creature, whatever it is that it needs to sustain the world and the creation and to bring it to the final tikkun. Right? So, in other words, whenever it is that we are looking on whatever we are missing, the missing 50 shekels or whatever it is that we are missing, as long as we are looking on the missing part, obviously we'll be frustrated, right? But if instead we will increase the sight, okay, zoom out, don't look on yourself only, my private life. Right now, I want 50 shekels right now in my pocket to buy myself dinner right now, today. Okay? So if you expand the picture a little bit more, a little bit bigger, and you see that there's other people around you, and there's other needs, and so on and so forth, right? So then you see that, Baruch Hashem, you are sustaining yourself, Baruch Hashem, for the 50 shekels that you do have, Baruch Hashem, that, and so on and so forth. There's so much things that we can appreciate, right? And to increase those positive feelings within ourselves, that's what makes the difference, right? So this is a very, very important point that it can help a lot to many, many moments of frustration over life. That it's normal and everybody goes through that. It's not like, don't think that you are so special about it, that you are frustrated sometimes with Hashem and why He's not giving me this and why He's not giving me that and so on and so forth. Everybody goes through that. This is in the Kabbalah, it's called katnut mochin, or mochin de katnus. It means a mindset of a minor, right? A little child, he doesn't understand that why he's not getting the candy. I want the candy now. What's going on? Why are you not giving me the candy? Right? So this is katnut mochin. This is like a mindset of a minor, that it's not capable to understand too much ins and outs and why yes, why not. He just wants the candy right now. Right? Okay? So we need to increase our mindset to be mature, to be ready to accept the ways of Hashem, to have faith that Hashem knows much, as much as I will say much, it won't be enough, much better than us, how to manage the whole world and also our life, our private life. So if there's something that we think we are missing and Hashem is not giving it to us, so we have the permission to pray, we have the permission to ask. Yes, that's good. That's developing your relationship with Hashem. That's positive. But don't complain. If Hashem doesn't give it to you yet, okay, so maybe Hashem wants to hear a little bit more prayer, a little bit more sincere heart, a little bit more Tehillim, whatever it is, trying to push you to do extra, whatever it is. Or maybe you don't really need it. Okay? How to know? Okay, that's another question. That's a very good question. How to know if you really need it, to keep on asking for that or not to keep on asking. That's another point. But without going there, just if we are strengthening our faith in Hashem, the system is working. System is working from before the creation of the first human being, before the creation of man. That's what I started the class today. It's called man and mad. Whatever comes up from the lower dimensions to the highest dimensions, that's called man. And mad is whatever comes from the highest dimensions to the lowest dimensions. So this circulation, this system works. It always worked. It never stopped to work. Okay? And whatever we do, it has an effect. Who will have the fruits of it? If it's us, if it's our children's, our grandchildren's, who knows? I don't know. I cannot tell you. But I can promise you, with all my heart, the system works. Hashem is taking care of everybody, and each person is getting exactly what he needs in the calculation. And Bezrat Hashem, I hope that we will be able to appreciate whatever it is that we do have, and to increase the feelings of gratitude. And that's a very, very important meditation, by the way. Just to close the mark, if someone is looking on a meditation, so just close your eyes, do the relaxation like we did, and contemplate about all the things that you have in your life, all the blessings that you have in your life. Okay? I can tell you about myself. Last point for today, Bnei Neder. There was one time, it was the third meal of Shabbat, and whatever, the house was a little bit messy, and I didn't have what I wanted on the table, and I felt very frustrated. I had like negative feelings in my heart, and I thought to myself, how can it be? I'm sitting here in Yerushalayim, Kever David HaMelech, and I have food on my table, and I have family, and I'm feeling like frustrated and negative feelings. What's going on with me? It's not right. I know better than that. Why do I have those negative feelings in my heart? And I started to say verbally, thank you Hashem for this, thank you Hashem for that, thank you Hashem for this. And I started to say over all the things that I do have in my life. And I went on and on and on, and went to more details and more details, and it made a difference. It made a difference. It changed the feelings. From the beginning point was very, very bitter and negative, and slowly it penetrates, and it comes in, and it's sweetening all of the bitterness. And after I was very, very full of gratitude to Hashem for all of those good things. So this is my personal experience, and it can be verbally, it can be in your heart. That's not right now the main point. For some people it's better to write it, maybe. There's some people that they like to do those things with, like writing a letter to Hashem, whatever it is. But the point is that as much as we are looking on the positive, and we are connecting our heart to positive feelings, we are also generating more positive things that Hashem brings into our life, right? If I give one of my children a present, and I see that he's, instead of saying thank you, he's saying, I want this, I want that, and I didn't want... He's not appreciating what I give him, so I don't want to give him another present, right? If I see a child that is appreciating what I gave him, so I want to give him more, right? Simple, very simple. So as much as we are more appreciative and trying to grow and to do more good things with those blessings that Hashem brought into our life, so that basically what generates to have more positive and more good things and more blessings, Bezrat Hashem, physical, emotional, spiritual, for us and for the whole world, Bezrat Hashem. Chaim tovim u'lashalom. Toda rabah. Kol tov.